Hi, this is my January rewind. I read 7 books in January. I'm going to go through each book and tell you what I thought and if I would recommend them. So the first book I read was Pretties by Westerfeld, which is the sequel to Uglies. I enjoyed it, but I didn't think it was as good as Uglies. It's the first time I've reread it in years and it's not as good as I remember it being. I definitely recommend Uglies more than this one. But next was How to Save a Life by Sara Zarr. How to Save a Life is a story about two girls, Jill and Mandy. Jill's dad has just died and she feels really abandoned, especially since her mum wants to adopt a baby. And that's where Mandy comes into the story. It's Mandy's baby that Jill's mum wants to adopt. I wasn't sure that I was going to enjoy this book because of the whole grief thing, how Jill is grieving for her dad. I don't like books like that because they remind me of the past and they make me feel sad. But I actually really enjoyed it and I would definitely recommend it. Beauty Queens by Libba, Bray, and this was a reread. But I really enjoyed this book. You've probably already guessed this book is about beauty queens and what happens when they crash land on a desert island. It's quite light-hearted and quite silly, but it features and explores quite a lot of different issues. It contains loads of feminism and a lot of satire on our world. You'll be reading and then they'll have a commercial break, if you can see. And it'll tell you about a product. The next two are kids' books. The first being Ballet Shoes by Noel Streatfeild. I hope I said that right. And it's a children's book from the 30s and it's about the life of three sisters, Pauline, Petrova and Posy. So I already knew the story of this book because there was a BBC adaptation about 3 or 4 years ago, which I really enjoyed. I definitely recommend this. It's definitely worth reading. A series of unfortunate events, The Bad Beginning by Lemony Snicket. And this was the first time I read this book because when I was a kid I read Harry Potter. I never got around to reading these. I liked it, but I found it a little bit annoying how he would use a word and then explain what that word meant. Now if he'd have only done it once or twice it wouldn't have bothered me, but it was constant and I found that really annoying. And that's probably because I'm not a kid and I already know what these words mean, but yeah. I'll see if I can find an example. But thanks to her adroit inventing skills, the word adroit here means skillful. But otherwise it was pretty good. I've actually got the second book and the third one, and once I've read them all I'm planning to review them. So that should happen soon. Anya's Ghost by Vera, Brosgol, and it's about a girl called Anya who falls down a well and makes friends with a ghost. And it was really good. Okay, the final book I can't show you because I don't have a copy. It was a library book and it wasn't even my library book, it was my dad's. And he read it and was like, you need to read this book. And that is Ready Player One by Ernest, Cline. And oh my god, I loved this book so much. It was so good. It's set in a virtual reality called The Oasis, which is like a game. And the creator of the game died and he left all his fortune hidden in the game, and to get there, characters have to follow clues to find 3 different keys. I loved this book, it was so nerdy and awesome. Literally every single thing that you can be nerdy about, like Harry Potter, Doctor Who, Dungeons and Dragons, World of Warcraft, Lord of the Rings, everything is featured in this book, and I just loved it so much. As soon as I get my own copy, I'm going to review it because I loved it, and it's like, I think it's now my favourite book. So, yes. Alright, I definitely recommend that you read this book. You will not regret it. So, I'm not going to do a TBR for February because I don't choose what I'm going to read in advance. I just pick up a book. But I'm currently halfway through 2 different books. Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. I've got about 200 pages to go, but it's been taking a while to read this one because I don't particularly care about kings and who gets to be king and all the sort of politics like that. So I've been reading it for about a week and I'll finish it eventually. It's making me a bit uncomfortable though because I actually watched the TV show before reading this because I couldn't get into it. And some of the characters are a lot younger, which makes what's happening to them even worse. And some of the characters I really like Daenerys, doesn't have enough chapters. I really was reading and I want to know what happens to her. And I've got to wait like 6 or 7 chapters before it goes back to her. Yes, I should be finished with this soon. And the second is Scorched by Muchamore, which is the final book in the Henderson's Boys series, and I only got this yesterday and I'm about halfway through, so I should be finished with this today because it's so good and it's the last in the series and I really want to know what happens. Bye.